You may have received a memo in your branch. Your bylaws chair should have received it concerning some important information about changes that are mandatory. These, some of them are because of changes made to the AAUW bylaws at the June 2011 convention, but also on January 1st of this year, there were changes in the Washington, D.C. Nonprofit Corporation Code. And these changes went into effect. And because AAUW is incorporated in Washington, D.C., these code changes require us to make a number of conformative amendments. But actually, I don't think it's as many changes as you might think. I hope that these materials will make it very clear. Also, in order to be sure we're in compliance with the IRS, there are several changes that are necessary. So what I have done is to give to you the Indiana bylaws. We have worked at our March board meeting and again last night to be sure that we are in conformance. And what you have here, and I'm sorry that you don't all have a copy, but there are basically 6 changes that need to be made right now. Now these, and I do want to emphasize this, these are mandatory. They do not require a branch meeting, they do not require a vote. In fact, your bylaws chair, your president, if you have your bylaws electronically already, it would not take you a great deal of time to incorporate the 6 changes that I have outlined on the memo that I just handed out. And for example, one of them is to replace whatever you have, and it's probably Article 3, use of name, to replace the verbiage in totality. And you can copy it right off the state bylaws if you like. We have the very same mandatory section. And also, it can be found online in the Member Center under Forms. Article 4 that you have on membership and dues, there is a very important substitution that defines what an individual member is. And that verbiage was approved at the 2011 convention, and it does meet the code requirements for nonprofits in Washington, D.C. Again, you could go to the state bylaws and just copy it off. You also need to change probably or modify slightly what you already have as a definition of a branch member. And that's also under Article 4. And I'll just read this to you. A branch member is a national member. I need to stop. It's talking of terminology, you will not find member at large any longer. Instead, it's a national member. May I say that again? Okay. You should not have member at large in your bylaws from now on. It is a national member. So, let me begin again. This is a definition of a branch member. A branch member is a national member who is also a member of whatever branch, Muncie branch, and so on. That member shall be entitled to vote, hold office, and participate in all branch activities and programs of each branch where membership is maintained. We do have a few members in Indiana who belong to more than one branch. So that particular amendment is going to cover that kind of situation as well. All right, now the next 2 are to satisfy the IRS. And so, somewhere in the body of your bylaws, what I call the administrative section, and you will find in the state bylaws a section that we call administration. And a very important mandatory change is that the branch will annually provide AAUW with a designated contact for administration and finance. And then going on from that one, the next mandatory change is that your branch will designate a member other than the contacts for administration and finance to record and make available upon request the minutes of each branch meeting and branch board meeting. And finally, we ask that you check your property and assets section. Again, you can really copy it from the Indiana bylaws, just substituting the branch name for the state. And you'll probably be just fine, but I have copied it in full on the memo that was just passed out to your branch. Now those are mandatory, and I've listed 6 of them, and I've just actually named 6 if you were counting. Attached to the memo that came out to us, though, what I call the conformance document, attached to that memo, there was also a list of recommendations that were set out for our guidance in reviewing the rest of our bylaws. So even though I am asking that you immediately make the 6 changes that I've just outlined, I'm also asking that you as a branch do review the rest of your bylaws. There are a number of items that are suggested to us that we take a look at, and we'll be doing that at the state level too. Items having to do with meetings, votes. What is a quorum? The last round of mandatory changes, I think that our National Bylaws Committee found a lot of confusion about quorum. So these things need to be cleaned up. I think I'm satisfied that we're doing a good job talking about elected officers, describing them, talking about the lengths of their terms, but we're a little fuzzy about our appointed officers, so you might want to start there. And then go to this national memo conformance document to see what else might be a good suggestion. All kinds of people are willing to help you. I will help you. And Marcia over here, she has the clean state document. She can help you. There are people at the national level. One of them is named on the memo that was just passed out, and you can contact these people directly for help. Now, I would ask that in the next 2 weeks, by May 15th, I know that sounds fast, but if you read this memo, you can find the 6 changes, and in many cases, it's just a matter of copying. Even school children know how to copy, so please do so. And thank you very much for your cooperation, okay?